Supporting Your Child's At-Home Learning, presented by the Read On Tutoring team at the Brantford Public Library. In this webinar, you will learn how to help support your child with their homework, studying, and distance learning. We will discuss the elements that make up a positive learning environment for your child and how to help support their learning during COVID-19. You will also get tips and tricks on how you can best help your child develop the necessary skills to be a lifelong learner. Today's agenda includes setting up a productive workspace, time management, developing a positive learning environment, learning during COVID-19, using technology, supporting online communication, parent resources, online student resources, and integrating learning into everyday activities.
Setting up a productive workspace Part 1. Having a specific area that is devoted to learning and doing schoolwork allows children to make a connection and realize that when they are in that location, it is time to learn. It is also important to provide school supplies such as pencils, pens, paper, or printed copies of homework to limit screen use. Setting up a productive workspace Part 2. If your child benefits from learning while standing, create an environment that emphasizes their learning strengths. Consider having the computer raised on a surface so that your child can stand. Calendars and other resources such as anchored charts that display multiplication or division tables or letter sounds could be displayed around the work environment. Movement breaks are essential. It gives students a break and time to get up, get some fresh air, go on a walk or on a bike ride to take their minds off of their work and screens. What to avoid in a working environment. Listed are a few examples of distractions that should be eliminated when children are focusing and engaged in their schoolwork. Limiting these distractions are beneficial as your child will be able to put 100% of their focus to learning new concepts. Distractions include loud noises such as TVs or conversations, games or electronics, and/or visual distractions such as clutter.
Time management. There are several benefits of effective time management. Firstly, we have improves productivity. The work reward system that should be implemented into your schedule so that your child will be more productive if there's an incentive of free time or breaks. This means create certain times for work and certain times for fun, creating a balance between work and reward. It establishes a consistent routine. Consistency in their daily, weekly, monthly schedules makes it easier to get work done if they know when school time and free time start and finish. Develops better organizational skills. Organization is key, especially if you're working from home or if you have multiple children in different grades. Both of these will be challenging, but organization and preparation in advance reduces the stress and uncertainty. Lastly, it keeps kids motivated and on task. As we've said earlier, with the work reward system being accounted for in the schedule, it allows for the student to be motivated in school time to be rewarded with free time. These effective time management strategies include creating a monthly, weekly, and/or daily schedule depending on the needs of you and your family. Of course, sometimes there are unforeseen circumstances, but we must try our best to limit the amount of alterations to the schedule to keep a consistent routine. Rewarding students for the time that they've worked with those work reward system we talked about. For example, maybe after they finish their math worksheet, they get a 20-minute break to watch a show, to go for a walk, or to play their games. Rewards and positive reinforcement help students stay motivated and keep them invested in their education. Here we have two examples of weekly schedules of something that you could implement with your child. Please note both of these mock schedules were based upon the guidelines that the ministry made for distance learning this past spring, from March until June. They recommended that children should spend 5 hours per week on school-based learning. Here we've divided them into 40-minute slots twice a day, Monday to Thursday. And in total, this made up to 5 hours and 20 minutes per week. Depending on the needs and the age of your child, you can modify the time blocks to suit them as individuals. The first mock schedule that we have here is generic, where based on your child's needs, you are able to choose and insert the necessary subjects. This is more of an outline, whereas the second one has a sample breakdown of subjects for the week. Again, feel free to adapt these to your child's personal needs. For example, maybe your child works best in the afternoon and likes to watch a show and relax when they first wake up. If so, feel free to modify it, but once you have set a schedule with your child, I suggest you stick to it to create consistency. Notice how after 40 minutes of schoolwork, there's a 20-minute break of choice. This is that necessary reward component we talked about earlier. Equally important, much of our distance learning has been computer-based learning. This gives your child a chance to step away from the computer and go outside, reset, and come back to their schoolwork. With these breaks, they will be far more productive.
Developing a positive learning environment. It is important to celebrate your child's successes no matter how big or small. Consistent and positive reinforcement is key to success and confidence in students. This can be something as simple as displaying their work on the fridge. Practice leading by example to encourage your student to continue doing their work. For example, read when your child is reading, or do work when they are working as well. This is beneficial because it will motivate your child to continue to do their work as they observe their parents or guardians doing similar independent work. Be engaged and show interest in what your child is learning. Ask them about what they are learning. Ask them to explain it to you. Not only does this engage you in their learning, but it helps them develop a deeper understanding of what they are learning. Do not discourage mistakes or failures. In order to succeed, mistakes and failures need to happen. Encourage your child to try again and that it is perfectly okay and actually a good thing to make mistakes sometimes. Children learn in many different ways. Provide as many opportunities as possible for them to learn. Do your best to develop and foster a love of learning. Learning during COVID-19. It is important to remember that you are not your child's teacher and you are not expected to be. Every student in Ontario is in the same situation. Teachers will take what has happened into consideration and take the appropriate measures for their students' needs. What you can do is do your best to support your child and their needs. Focus on their well-being. Students are developing other skills and learning other important life skills during this time. Don't be scared that they aren't learning anything because they are learning how to deal with the unexpected, how to care for themselves, and how to adapt. They are also learning about online learning and technological skills and are probably more technologically advanced than many of you at this point.
During the transition to online learning, it's important to model healthy screen use as it inevitably increases when learning from home. One way you can do this is by printing out assignments whenever possible. When your student completes their assignment, you can always scan it in order to submit it online. This alternative gives students an opportunity to rest their eyes while completing assignments at the same time. Another way to promote healthy screen use is to balance screen time with other activities. If your student has to look at a computer or tablet all day for school, try to encourage them to pursue other activities outside of their school time, like reading, physical activity, or playing a board game with family members. This is especially important during the breaks your student takes throughout the day. Try to limit the use of technology during breaks by going outside to get some physical activity if possible. It's also important to talk with your kids about how they're spending their time online. Make sure they know what websites they are and aren't allowed to be using, and encourage them to use their time online effectively and in moderation. Online learning can take place on a variety of different platforms, and today we will be covering several of the most popular platforms. The first is Zoom, which is a video conferencing app with multiple features, including screen sharing and the ability for participants to write on a virtual whiteboard. Your student's teacher may use this to deliver lessons or facilitate group work through the use of the breakout room feature. Google Classroom is a classroom management platform where teachers can upload worksheets and assignments for your student to access them. Your student may also be able to access their grades through Google Classroom. D2L, or Desire to Learn, is another classroom management platform. Similar to Google Classroom, D2L is also used to distribute and submit assignments and receive grades. Although there are many services out there, there is a plethora of information available online that can help you navigate using them, especially if you are unfamiliar or new to them. Your student's teacher can also be a great resource for understanding any platforms they may choose to use. While your student may not be physically able to see their peers, it is important that they remain in contact in order to maintain social bonds during social distancing. There are several ways in which you can help facilitate this as a parent or guardian. The first is to create opportunities to work collaboratively with classmates. For example, your student could work on an assigned worksheet over FaceTime with a friend. They could also complete a project over Zoom, which allows for multiple participants. Outside of school time, younger students can participate in virtual playdates with friends. There are many online games that can be played on Zoom, either using the screen sharing feature or through apps that are compatible with Zoom. Older students may already be staying in contact with their friends through social media. It's also important for you, as a parent or guardian, to keep in contact with other parents. This will help combat feelings of isolation in addition to several other benefits. Keeping in contact with other parents is a great way to learn tips and tricks, as well as strategies that they have found to be effective. You can also talk about your struggles together. This is a new experience for everyone, and talking it out with other parents can make it feel less daunting. Connecting with other parents also widens your support network. You may be really great at math and are able to help your child with that subject, but another parent might have experience with science and is able to answer questions that you might have not been able to on your own. Learning from home means that your student may have to email their teacher for the first time. As this is a new experience, it's important to ensure that your student understands the difference between drafting a professional and appropriate message to their teacher and a text message between friends. To start off, make sure to include a relevant subject line. In this example, the subject is question about math homework and the student's name. Start the email using formal language and include a greeting like hello, Mr., Mrs., or Miss, and the teacher's surname. When composing the email, be clear and concise when stating the reason for emailing, as well as demonstrating that your student has tried to solve the problem independently. For example, I'm emailing you to ask for clarification on the homework questions that were assigned yesterday. Are we supposed to complete questions 1 to 50 or 50 to 100? I've attempted to find the information on Google Classroom, but was unable to find it. Always end by thanking the teacher and signing your full name. Another helpful tip for emailing your student's teacher is to ask your child to compile a list of all their questions throughout the day and to send them all in a single email at the end of the day. This is helpful for the teacher as they will have less emails to respond to and also gives your student the opportunity to figure out the answer on their own throughout the day. It can be frustrating not being able to get an immediate response as you would in the classroom, so remind your student to be patient and not get discouraged if they don't get an answer right away.
Here we have our parent resources. Our first resource are podcasts, and these are on the Apple database. These are the ones that stood out to us as a good start to learning new tips and tricks about distance learning. If you look on their podcasts, there are several others that you can look into. Podcasts are a great resource at your disposal since you are able to listen while doing other things, like going for a walk, driving home from work, or while doing chores and tasks around the house. Here we have 3 examples that we found on the Apple database. Distance Learning, Episode 7, The Balance. Distance Learning, Ready, Set, Smart. And lastly, Distance Learning, HPE, Quick Tips Podcast. Now, if you have Spotify, I prefer their podcasts as they are generally broken down into segments, which make for shorter podcasts, and you can choose to skip some if they aren't relevant to you and your child. For example, on Distance Learning Success Tips, they have a 9-minute podcast called Getting Ready for Final Exams, Study in Space. Therefore, if your child is not taking exams, you are able to skip this segment. Alternatively, I am sure that Google Play and other streaming systems have podcasts as well. Feel free to search keywords like distance learning, supporting your child, or school from home, and you will be able to find podcasts on those systems as well. On Spotify, the 3 that we've outlined here for you are Distance Learning Success Tips, Distance Learning Episode 7, The Balance, which was also on Apple, and lastly, Decoding Distance Learning. The next parent resource that we have are books from the Brantford Public Library. Here are some examples. Firstly, you can teach someone to read, Helping Your Anxious Child, Digital Life Skills for Youth, teaching fractions with Lego bricks, teaching ESL in Canada, and teaching kids to think. These are just some examples of books that will help with communication, discipline, and teaching your child through distance learning. Some will not apply to you and your child, and that is okay. The library has several books online and in physical copy that you can read. The book titles here are hyperlinked to the website, so it'll take you right to the Brantford Public Library database. Simple tips and tricks for parents. Firstly, stick to the routine or schedule. This means keeping bedtimes and wake-up times the same to be consistent. The schedule should also be put up in a spot that everyone sees daily, so that it reminds people of what's happening on any given day. For example, put the schedule on the fridge or in the room designated for school, or you could even hang it up in multiple places. Secondly, get enough sleep. This is a good tip for really any time, but especially through distance learning. This is important because if you are sluggish and tired, your child will notice that and probably won't provide you with their best efforts. Equally important, if you are tired, it could be very challenging to be of any effective help to your child. In the end, with enough sleep, you and your child will be more productive. Next, maintain a positive attitude and environment. Kids often reflect your emotions onto their personality, and they are far more perceptive than we even realize. So maintaining a positive attitude through school will help them see education in a positive way. Lastly, make it fun and enjoyable for you and your child. Distance learning is hard on both you and your child. The breaks, free time, physical activity, as laid out in the calendar, are necessary for you both. We all need breaks, and computers can be hard on our eyes, our posture, and our mood. We need to take the necessary time to take a step back and care for you and your child's mental and physical well-being.
There are so many activities on the internet for learning at home. The challenge becomes choosing credible and engaging resources for our kids. So we have carefully curated a short list of some really engaging material for kids. These resources are certified educational resources, and they are often recommended by school boards. They're easy to use for both kids and parents, and they're unique and fun. So they include things like games, virtual field trips, movies, and creative projects. But most importantly, they are not worksheets for your kids to do at home. At the Brantford Public Library, we have many resources to help you support your child's learning at home. The Summer Read On program is a one-on-one tutoring program that the library offers for free. Students are paired with a tutor and work on their reading, math, and language skills during 45-minute blocks. French tutoring sessions are also available. Our tutors are university students who are specially trained and have experience working with children. This summer, we are offering one-week sessions on Zoom. There are still some spots available. You can register your child on the Eventbrite page. This year, we are continuing to host the TD Summer Reading Program. All children ages 0 to 12 are invited to participate in the program. From June 20th to August 31st, your child can track their reading online. At the end of the summer, we will have 2 draws for prizes. The more books your child reads, the more entries they get in the draw. The Brantford Public Library is also collecting the best digital activities to keep children entertained and learning during COVID-19. We offer staff-led story times and daily activities. We also provide a wide variety of ebooks and online content that your kids will enjoy, such as the Tumble applications, including Tumblebook, Tumblebook Biblio-Enfant, and Tumble Math, as well as the Sesame Street website and Hoopla. We encourage you to explore these resources with your children. Each week, the Grand ERIE District School Board publishes learning resources for kindergarten to grade 8 students. There is a small literacy, numeracy, and physical education activity for students to complete each day. The Grand ERIE District School Board also offers daily French as a second language, English as a second language, and special education activities. These activities are quick, easy ways for kids to integrate some learning into their routine. The activities are compiled into PDFs, so it's easy to print them and post them in a prominent area of your home. Now let's turn to some additional resources that you can find online. Let's start with math and science. Mathies is a math practice website designed for Ontario K-12 students, educators, parents, and guardians. The website hosts many games, activities, and learning tools for students. Some of these are offered in French. It also has an entire home support section for parents. This website is recommended by the Toronto District School Board for remote learning. The Nature Conservatory offers a variety of virtual nature field trips designed for grades 5 to 8, but these can be adapted for all ages. Parents can use the teacher guide, which has discussion questions and appropriate answers. Some examples of field trips include The Secret Life of Corals and China's Great Forests. You can also check out Discovery Education's virtual field trips. Discovery Education works with a variety of partners to provide virtual field trips based on science, math, and literacy topics. These topics range from sports to manufacturing to nature and to conservation. The field trips are appropriate for a variety of ages. Unfortunately, the website does not specify grade level. There are also some amazing online French resources that you can use with your child at home. Idelo is a free website that provides over 11,000 certified educational resources in French for students in elementary schools. Resources include videos, games, websites, applications, and teaching tools. They are sorted by topic and grade level. Currently, the organization is offering a program called TFO Family Camp that has curated resources for at-home learning. ScriptJab is an application that allows students to read and create dual language books. Kids can write, record, and draw their own books in 2 languages. They can also read books made by other children. This website is ideal for introducing project-based learning into your home. There are lots of great resources to use online, but let's be honest, sometimes it's difficult to block out time for kids to sit down and focus on learning, especially during the nice warm weather. However, that doesn't mean that learning has to stop. There are many simple and easy ways to integrate learning into everyday activities. We often learn best when we are doing something actively rather than absorbing information passively. Here are some examples of ways to work in math and literacy into your busy day. Let's start with math. Do your online shopping together. Ask questions like which brand or which size of container is the best value? Is the brand name clothing or electronics worth the extra money? Make a meal plan together. How do we convert a recipe to feed all the members of our family? How much of each ingredient do we need to buy to make the meals? Use sports to teach math concepts like angles and geometry. Cook or bake something together to make sense of fractions. You could even check the weather forecast together. What is the probability of it raining today? Why do you think that is? Now let's look at some literacy examples. Use TV commercials to develop critical thinking skills. Talk about the messages your children see. What is the advertisement selling? Who is the intended audience? Why do they choose certain images or sound? Read the newspaper together. Practice pronunciation and reading skills. Are there any new words or phrases your child does not know? Ask them questions like, what do you think about the article? Or, do you agree or disagree with the author's opinion? Listen to the radio and sing along to your favorite songs together. This exercise can improve vocabulary, listening skills, and pronunciation. Listening to the radio is also a great strategy for students to practice their French skills.
If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at the library. Along with this video, on our website you will find a PDF copy of the slideshow with hyperlinks throughout that take you to the various websites and resources we discussed. There is also a detailed written version of this presentation in the form of a booklet that is also available on our website. The booklet has links to various websites and resources discussed in addition to other helpful options. Thanks for watching!